these weird metals and so forth, and I don't know where they're coming from.
Can I just,
Yes.
can I ask you about so I'm gonna reflect what I heard
please.
and then ask a question on it. So I heard you say, as a practitioner, you're seeing a change, and
Yes.
over terms, your mentors have also seen a change.
Yes, so and this is somewhat vicarious because my mentors have seen this over
Yep.
the 30 years because I haven't been alive that
Yep.
long.
I'll give you
And
that.
so, yeah.
But I also hear you saying, which I'd like to tease out from
Please.
the debate that's often put out into the media, which is ideas of barium, strontium, and alumina. I hear you listing chemicals that don't fall in that and actually fall in something that's very clearly not hidden, and that would be nuclear testing. And so I concur, and there are studies that show increasing levels of different chemicals in fat cells in adults, but they're often attributed to live.
And I'm not using this as a support or a demolishing of the chemtrail thing. I am simply, in my mind, I'm just pointing out that this is probably where all of this stuff comes from. And after that, there are elaborations that grow out of this. Because it is very difficult to resort to lived experience and to stay there and to keep those two things clear, because that is, our brains don't work that way. When we think about something as true, even if we have no direct experience of it, it's exactly the same as if we had a lived experience of that. But lived experience-wise, I have to just keep that very clear for my own sanity and so forth. So that is one thing I would like to point out in this area.
That makes a lot of sense. I'd offer one comment, which is that you're a naturopath, and naturopaths are there precisely, I think, to deal with people who have non-specific illnesses that medical people don't treat very well. So it's not surprising you see a lot of them.
No, I don't suppose I would not say that.
That's not fair, but I think that's, so in my experience of people, my friends who talk about naturopaths, that's why they go to naturopaths, is precisely that reason. So the fact you see them, it's the same sense as I see when I teach undergrads, I see the undergrads who have different sorts of problems because they're the ones who come to my office. And it's sort of, because that's what my office is for.
Generalize in that sense.
Yeah.
That is unfortunate, and it is
Yeah.
unfortunate that we just don't have the resources to draw statistical conclusions at this time to do that, because we just don't have the money or the resources to do that.
Understood. But generally, I understand what you say. I'd like to get, if anybody else wants to offer theories about why. Taking what Jerry said, that, in some sense you want to do both things. You want to understand what the data is, but you also need to put together theories of the data. Why would people be doing this?
I have a theory,
Yep.
and you can call me crazy. People do
I won't do that.
from time to time call me crazy. The brain is one of the least understood organs in the body.
That's for sure true.
Okay? There are chemicals and impulses and synaptic transfers with specific chemicals that operate within the brain. We also have a very sure, just about proof of the sound frequency aspect of our bodies and of our existence, to the effect of, well, matter vibrates, creates a sound, and different frequencies have different effects or different sound waves within an audible range of frequency or inaudible range of frequency have effect on people. So I would propose a theory that, based on a compartmentalized idea of government secrecy, okay, where the right hand does not know what the left hand is doing, that there could be military factions or alliances built globally that have an idea that minds can be controlled, and that the chemical reactions within the brain that govern free will are very easily manipulated through chemicals introduced into the body. We are like fish within a fishbowl. I have a very porous, membranous structure to my body. So if I go stick my hands in a bowl of nicotine for an hour, I'll be essentially a smoker that's been smoking for an hour through my hands. I can breathe in those things. I can absorb them through my skin. That's just the chemical side of it. When it comes to the sound frequency, I'm going to tie this in a second. The sound frequency doesn't necessarily affect my hearing. It can affect the actual matter, structural integrity of my system. All my parts working together through, yes, DNA, through the genetic coding, through certain chemical regulations within my brain being governed by the sovereign construction of my body from the Creator. I believe I'm created by a Creator. So, would it be so far out there to suggest that the chemicals that may or may not be introduced through spraying, also other means, there are chemicals, say for example aspartame, that are introduced into our diet.
Yeah.
Federal Drug Agency or Administration, the FDA, sending approval on things over a course of time as a compartmentalized government agency trying to do good.
Yeah.
These chemicals are being introduced, from my perception, in combination with projects such as HARP, such as GWEN. There are ELF, UHF, and EMF frequencies that have very different and varied effects on the human composition.